Hello everyone, welcome live to 3YTV tonight's broadcast of the GTR Simulator Superspeedway Series here in the National Sim Racing Association. I am Peter Short, and joining me alongside here for all the action here tonight at the famed Daytona International Speedway for the Roadhouse Randy 150 is Ben Adams. And Ben, great to be back here close to the beach of Florida. And I'll tell you what, going to be a fun one. Race number 2 here in a relatively long Superspeedway Series in the GTR Simulator Cup.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. It's always fun when you come to Daytona. There's so much history here, and it just means more at Daytona, it seems like to me.
It definitely does. You can see right there on the backstretch, Lake Lloyd, where they dug out a lot of the dirt that makes up the high banks here of the famed Daytona International Speedway. Shane Ledoux fastest here in the practice session, but the practice session is about to come to a close. Checkered flag is fallen, and we will move over into the qualifying session here tonight. And of course, the qualifying session is brought to you by BAM Auto. We'll figure out who will pick up the second BAM Auto Pole Award this season. And I'll tell you what, Ben, I expect to see a lot of these drivers use that high line here on lap number 1, of course, trying to get wound up, get their speed up. As you see the number 3 machine here, John Doble, working his way out onto the racetrack right now.
Yeah, you know, qualifying is just one thing here I've never figured out. These guys just always seem to be 2/10 faster than me no matter what I do. So maybe I can pick up some tips watching.
Well, of course, your first time up here in the 3YTV booth here tonight. A little bit of a new look for everyone back home this week here on 3YTV. You got at the bottom of your screen, you'll see some of those qualifying times start to roll in here in just a little bit. And, you know, just trying to work out some of these new graphics here. A little bit of a new look here on 3YTV. Of course, iRacing did an update this week, and well, our old 3YTV graphics package somewhat exploded, so you'll have to bear with us here tonight. Of course, we'll have a lot of the same graphics that you're typically used to seeing right here on 3YTV, but a little bit of a new look here in qualifying. You see Ben Mashburn here working his way around the racetrack in his number 24 machine. We'll see him in action here tonight, I'm sure. One of those drivers, Ben, who always seems to have bad luck here in the series.
He does, but you either want to be in front of him or behind him, because Ben Mashburn will be going to the front. He doesn't have any other bone in his body but go to the front.
That is definitely very, very true as he works his way around the turn number 4. We'll see him come to the line this time to what will be his coming up to his fast lap. There's Andrew Himmelman, the number 8 machine, currently fastest on the board. William Kirwan, currently second here in the qualifying session. There is the number 52 Kirwan Racing Ford F-150, excuse me. Looks like he's sporting, I think, a little bit different of a look than we saw last week in that number 52 machine. Chip Hansen there in the number 87, currently third spot on the board. Shane Ledoux in the number 12, fourth spot, but Travis White just jumped up into the top 3 with the Simbox Chevy Silverado. So I'll tell you what, Ben, you mentioned that you can't seem to figure out qualifying here at Daytona, but qualifying doesn't exactly matter a whole lot here on the super speedways, and pretty much all season long, especially with these trucks. We saw a great race last week, a lot more passing than what we saw out of the Cup cars last season.
Oh yeah, the Cup cars they were just, I don't know, it took a lot of the fun out of it. The truck package is perfect, and like you said, you can start at the back in the truck and be at the front in 2 or 3 laps, whereas the Cup car, if you started at the back and you lost the draft, you were pretty much out of it. So I think Chris and the guys made a good choice going back to the trucks for this series.
Yeah, there you see number 12 of Shane Ledoux coming to a halt. There is the number 17, Jimmy Reynolds, out there right now. I'm expecting to see another great show here tonight out of these drivers here in the GTR Simulators Super Speedway Series here in the National Sim Racing Association. There is a link in the description to GTR Simulators, and I'll tell you what, Ben, I believe no one knows GTR Simulators better than you do. A couple of them in your household currently, and tell the people back home, tell them what to expect out of a GTR simulator?
Well, they're very well made. I have a slightly different one than what Andrew had. Very well made. They got the monitor mounts, triple monitor mounts. I mean, they're super nice, very sturdy. The craftsmanship on the seat, super nice. And I'm going to throw in a plug. If you use code GTR Sim, 10% off. So no tax. So you can't beat that, right?
You absolutely cannot beat that. I know, during this whole COVID pandemic, I've been working from home, which has kind of put a halt on the whole getting a sim rig because I utilize my workspace for both sim racing and gaming and work. But with that in mind, I still want to one day get a sim rig. And I've definitely been looking at GTR simulators because they come with a monitor mount. I run with triple monitors currently, and that's what I broadcast with here on 3Wide TV. You see Garrett Gleason come to the line. In fact, one of the last drivers to take time because the checkered flag has fallen here on the qualifying session, and definitely going to be an interesting one. Let's see if we can bring up those qualifying results for you right here on your screen right there. Chris Darling in the number 11 machine, able to pick up the pole here and pick up that Sim Auto pole award. Excuse me, it isn't Sim Auto, is it? It is the Bamauto. I'm getting my sim rigs and GTR simulator. I'm just trying to plug them all at one go. But big shout out to the number 11 machine, Chris Darling, picking up the pole.
We threw a lot of sponsors on you real fast. You've done a good job.
Sometimes you just have to get used to what you got, the lay of the land, if you will. There's your starting 8 cars. We'll look in just a little bit further back here. Do the cars a little bit further down. But a really good field here tonight. 27 drivers here. And it is going to be a scrap all the way up to the front of the field. And a really good-looking number 11 machine of Chris Darling right there. You get it, the Be Kind Autism Speaks, maxgraphics.co, number 11 machine. We saw that car a couple of weeks ago right here on 3Wide TV in what was the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series. Of course, we'll see that in action right here tomorrow night as well here on the channel. Very much looking forward to that one, Ben, and hopefully we'll get to see you back in the truck tomorrow night.
I'm back, man. It was a while to get back, but I just decided, that Bristol dirt was a little bit much, but I'll be back tomorrow night ready to rock and roll.
Absolutely, definitely going to be a fun one right here on 3Wide TV. As you see, the field will be starting to roll here in just a minute, waiting for, well, actually, I think we're waiting on you, Ben, to get out there in your truck, but you're not out there because you're right out here you're right up here in the booth. So if you're gonna go start the race, you better go down there now. You've had enough of me up here in the booth already. Go get down to your truck right now as they start to roll out there on the racetrack, led by the number 11 machine of Christopher Darling, of course, picking up that Bamauto Pole Award. We do have more awards to give away here tonight. The JR's Mobile Detailing Lucky Dog Award. I'm sure we'll see that in action at some point here tonight. We will also have the Crank It Up, brought to you by JKR Motorsports. Max Graphics Hard Charger as well going to be in the mix. And, of course, we could possibly have a little bit of overtime recently joining the group here in the National Sim Racing Association is I'd say probably our newest sponsor, but that is the Beer Street Review group of people, and great to have them on board. If you're interested in craft beer, make sure you check out them. Because Ben, the National Sim Racing Association really going places over the last couple of weeks, picking up sponsors left, right, and center. I know you've been involved in some of that as well, but definitely really cool to have all of these sponsors making each and every race possible here right on 3Wide TV.
Yeah, I want to personally thank all the guys that jumped on board. We have some really good members and really good companies, and I really appreciate everybody. But I'm going to say you got some trouble, man. Look at number 1 and number 3, teammates Chris Darling and Ben Mashburn. They're going to hook up, I'm telling you.
My mic has been absolutely muted. I don't know when that happened here, folks, but we got a look there of the number 28 machine of Evan Gilbert spinning down onto pit road there with contact from the number 23 machine of Travis White. Those two cars just banged doors, and Evan Gilbert here, Ben, starting off on the wrong foot. He's going to have to come from well back in the field, and he currently about half a lap from your race leader, Chris Darling.
Yeah, he tough break spinning down pit road. He was not happy in driver chat. I could hear him.
Yeah, Tana Himmelman.
He got some tough luck, hadn't he?
Yeah, Tana letting me know that we couldn't hear you. Yeah, Ben couldn't hear me either, Tana. So both of y'all couldn't hear me. But hopefully we're back now. And Johnny Williams saying, good luck all. LOL at the broadcast with the muted mic. Hey, it happens to the best of us. I'll tell you what, it happens to me more often than you think. I need to be more careful with that. But nonetheless, up the front of the field is still Christopher Darling continuing to lead. So far, we haven't seen any lead changes here tonight. And Ben, I'm a little bit surprised with that after we saw so many lead changes last week at Talladega.
Well, your mic was muted, but like I was saying, these two, Ben Mashburn and Chris Darling, they practice and practice. They work so well together. When they get lined up, it's just really tough to get by them. Now you're starting to see that outside line really begin to form, though, and you've almost got to separate them, Peter. Like, you got to get them broke up so that they can't work together, because you almost can't beat them.
Yeah, and Andrew's in the next spot back behind them on that inside groove. Meanwhile, John Doble, the number 3 machine, trying to get that high line working with William Kirwan. Great job by William Kirwan here to get to the back bumper of that number 3 machine, and still trying to push into the lead. Back behind them, that is Shane Ledoux, fastest driver in practice. He's hooked up with his threat level midnight teammate there, the number 14 of Stephen Ford. Like I mentioned, I hope I mentioned, if you guys didn't hear it, kind of a new name here to the GTR Simulator Truck Series. And oh, the number 9 machine of Lorello just jumped out towards the back of the pack. There is Lorello off the pace right now, trying to slot into the traffic back there. Maybe just seeing that some of these drivers up front just maybe a little bit too racy for him right now.
Yeah, he's done a really good job coming in. He's one of the sponsors.
Yeah, on board right now with the number 9 machine of James Arello in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series Chevrolet, just looking at the trucks out front of them. And Ben, another thing that I heard from a lot of these drivers last week with how difficult it is to see once you're tucked up behind some of these cars. We'll go on board here with JT Poole. You could see the back end of Andrew Himmelman's number 8 machine, but you really can't see out front of that number 8 machine. You have to kind of stay glued to the back bumper as the field is catching up to the back end here of Evan Gilbert, looking out back of the number 28 machine, looking at GTR Simulator there on the spoiler. I think he's going to try and go high here and let the field on by, but this is going to be a little bit of 3-wide action here at Daytona. Daytona's not as wide as Talladega. This could be a little bit of a pinch for the field.
Oh yeah, here they go. He's doing a good job pinning it to the top, but like you were saying, to go fast, you have to really be on the back of a truck in front of you, and that you really, sometimes I'm just guessing almost like how to get into the turn, or else you just kind of crack the throttle and back off a little bit. But yeah, it is difficult to see. Yeah, he's falling back pretty good. Did he scrub the wall?
Yeah, he caught the wall right there through turn number 1 and 2. Might have just been trying to give a little bit too much space to the pack that was going on by him. And you and I know, Ben, that is just kind of insult to injury for him at this moment in time. Meanwhile, that high line there getting a little bit racy as the number 52 of William Kirwan broke up with the number 3 of John Doble there momentarily. And here comes the number 26 machine of JT Poole. Poole tried to look to the high side, and Himmelman now thinking about going to the high side. So the 8 and the 26 now hooking up. John Doble, William Kirwan back behind them. What can they do for your front two of Darling and Mashburn?
Yeah, isn't it interesting that JT's going with Andrew? He could have stayed down and tucked in with his teammates, but JT Poole elects to go with Drew on the top. Interesting.
Yeah, they go off racing into turn number 3. It is right now the Auburn Tigers number 8 machine out front. I'm sure Tana will... I just don't know how much stick Tana gives Andrew for running an Auburn car. Of course, Tana's a really big Auburn fan. Not Auburn fan. She's going to kill me for that. A really big Alabama fan. And then Andrew's a big Auburn fan. So how do you live with that in your house, Ben?
Well, you got to worry about me, too. I'm probably the biggest Alabama fan in the world, so roll tide. But Drew got dropped on his head as a young child, and he just hasn't ever come back from it.
Oof. Yeah, I'm getting stick in the chat right now from Tana, but I'll tell you what, that Auburn machine is out front, so I'm not seeing any Alabama. That's what you need to do, Ben. You need to go out there with an Alabama truck and have a battle of the colleges one day with Andrew out there. But I mean, actually, that would be a fun thing, is if every driver in the field, how as Darling back to the lead here under green, how NASCAR back in the day used to have the Looney Tunes races and the other type of theme races. They should do a university theme night where you paint the car in your university colors. I'm talking Texas Longhorns, which is my alma mater, hook 'em. Alabama, Auburn, get some Michigan out there. Just get your colleges out there and also get some exposure to some of the smaller colleges out there across the United States. We got a lot of them here across the country, and some of them are, not that big, but hey, people attending them, and that's their thing. So it'd be really cool to see that. Maybe get that in the ear here of one of the administrators here in the National Sim Racing Association. But
we got a good start. We got the Auburn truck, and if you look back at the 87, I believe he's running the South Carolina colors. So I know he's a Gamecocks alum, so I'm pretty sure he's in the field with that car, Chip Hansen.
I'm just going to try hiding the graphic here for a quick minute. For some reason, it's saying we have 2 hours and 16 minutes left in the race. I honestly don't know why. Oh, John Doble in the wall, and this is the big one here at Daytona. Man. Bunch of cars involved. There's Colin Ullery, and John Doble's still getting in it in his number 3 machine. Quite a few torn up race cars. Let's see what went on here up at the front of the field, because you and I had seen John Doble leading that outside groove in the number 3, and this is definitely going to be one where we are going to have to kind of break this one down. Contact with William Kirwan. They had been quite tight out there on the racetrack with one another. Comes back down into the 52. Andrew Himmelman getting involved. You look at the 14 machine going up into the outside wall. There goes the 17 back up the racetrack. That is Jimmy Reynolds into the side of a black truck. Not sure who that black truck was. And Doble up into the 14 machine again down into William Kirwan. This was just, this is a really strange accident for Daytona. It just seemed like they clogged the entire racetrack and ended up just bouncing off one another. They didn't, like, all things considered, there aren't a lot of torn up race trucks, but there are a lot of racetracks that beat and banged off of one another in that one.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Kirwan hit him in the turn. That's the only reason I would think that truck would jump right like that.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get another look at this one right here going off into the corner. Watch the number 52 machine. Yep, gets to his bumper right there, hooks him up into the wall, and then it is on from there. And like I said, just a bunch of trucks just beating and banging off one another all the way kind of back through the field. Meanwhile, a couple of the trucks back there, like the number 47 there, Dalton Hayes, just kind of grinding it to a halt and letting all the carnage play out in front of him.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where maybe it was a little better than it looked. You know, a lot of trucks really did a good job, not ARCA braking, as they call it, right into the middle of the wreck.
Yeah, so we'll see if we can get another look at this one, maybe from the number 52 machine here of
Colin O'Leary and Chad is saying look from his own board, so I bet it's not. Oh yeah, he got him hard. You just can't bump draft like that, and, you know, especially this early in the race.
And that was Colin O'Leary's. Look at that, and it's still going on,
Whoa! Well, he was right.
And
I like that view.
Yeah, that number 62 machine, your reigning series champion here, was able to squeak on through that. I think we'll have to get one more look of that one here, maybe from kind of an onboard camera here, and we'll roll the tape here going off into the corner. Watch all the carnage break loose. There's the initial contact. Gets on the brakes. Someone goes flying through him there in the JR's mobile detailing machine. And I think he got a small piece of damage there, Ben, but all things considered, could have been a heck of a lot worse for the number 62 machine.
That guy's going to have to get a pay raise on the SimShots racing team.
Yeah,
that was killer driving, man. Great job.
That is
Carlos
for sure.
Acosta says, check your DMs.
Tech support sliding into my DMs. Yeah, we, you know, Carlos, we didn't quite get everything set up exactly right this week. Don't sweat it. Don't fret. But I am getting DMs from him.
No, it looks like the lap counter's fixed. We're not doing the timer anymore.
Well, that's exactly what he was talking about. There we go. So,
he came clutch for you there.
He did. So we're not doing a timed race, folks. It isn't 2 hours of Daytona. At least I hope it's not 2 hours of Daytona, Ben. That would mean we're in for a long ride up here in the booth. Probably need a couple of bottles of water to not lose my voice tomorrow. But we're just about the quarter race distance here in tonight's Roadhouse Randy 150 here on 3 Wide TV. Big shout out to everyone watching in the chat. And a couple of things that we'll need to work on with the graphics package next week, but maybe even for tomorrow night here on 3 Wide TV, as we, of course, have action here in the National Sim Racing Association. The Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series rolls in, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, Ben, but tomorrow night we are going to
the Roval.
The Roval, that's right. We're going to be turning left and right, and that link is up here on YouTube. We're hearing there's a little bit of a money giveaway this week for drivers who will be sharing out the link to tomorrow night's broadcast here on the Roval. So if you're in the chat right now and you know one of these drivers, well, go check out their link that they should be sharing and share it yourself. Follow it along. Push it down the chain, and maybe you can give one of these drivers a little bit extra change in the back pocket. Pace car down pit road, green flag back in the air. These drivers do have faster pairs here in this series, so they are able to get their laps back if they are, you know, out there and with a damaged truck, and then get it repaired. However, I was thinking, Ben, that we were going to have a JR's Mobile Detailing Lucky Dog Award, but Evan Gilbert was caught up in that accident, and you and I know, Ben, if you get caught up in an accident like that, you do lose that opportunity to pick up that Lucky Dog Award. As well, William Kirwan, big move there on the backstretch in the 52.
Yeah, that's the worst thing ever, when you get the lucky dog and somebody accidentally bumps you while you're waiting to start to take it, man. It's very frustrating. But I think he'll have some chances to get back on the lead lap here.
Yeah, as we look right there, Matthew Robinson in the number 98 machine, he was sliding back through the pack right there, kind of on the right-hand side of your screen. Not sure what he fell back for, but I think he was involved in that accident. So maybe trying to conserve that last fast repair that he has. Meanwhile, up at the front, Andrew Himmelman in the Auburn Chevrolet. Now, he was involved in that accident there, Ben. I'm not sure if he used that fast repair or not. He did come down pit road. In fact, most of the field came down pit road. We'll see if we can bring up that graphic for you right down there. This one. The top 5 all came down on lap number 12 under that caution flag. That black truck that you're seeing up there on the top side of the racetrack, folks, that I believe is the number 97 machine, I do believe, driven by Matt Hummel. So Hummel out there right now in kind of an all-black race truck, trying to do a Dale and get the win here tonight at Daytona.
Yeah, I'm glad you figured out who it was. I was trying to look over and figure out who he was because, he doesn't have any numbers on his truck. But yeah, I think, has he run here last week? I don't remember him being here last week.
Definitely a new name here. Oh, okay, you're both back. Ben, you went and Andrew went, and that's because we both live in the same household. So I was a little bit concerned there. I was going, that's not good. But both back out there on the racetrack right now. But yeah, Hummel definitely new to, still Andrew Himmel. Whoa, Himmelman still blinking up there at the front of the field, and hopefully that connection settles down there for y'all, Ben. But for right now, that number 8 machine up towards the front. But now we're 3 wide. Look at this. Darling and Mashburn up there on the top side. We'll kind of wait to see. Hopefully, Andrew Himmelman's connection chills out just a little bit. He's dropped to the bottom side of the racetrack. I think he's going to let everyone on by. Hopefully that connection sorts itself out. As you can see, he's... Oh, contact! Oh, big contact up at the front of the field, and we're wrecking. Here we go, the big one, number 2 at Daytona. And that all happened right at the front of the field. Colin Ullery, who did a fantastic job avoiding wreck number 1, well, isn't going to avoid this one. That is a big one here, Ben.
Oh yeah, that one is as bad as it looks. There's a lot of destroyed trucks.
And we were 3 wide, and the 24 machine, Ben Mashburn, coming down the racetrack. There might have been a little bit of contact with Chris Darling there on the top side, but Ullery involved, Mashburn involved, the 17 involved, the 21, the 9 getting a piece of it. Right there of James Zorello. Looks like the 3 of John Doble. You see Darling and Mashburn still having issues. You see Andrew Himmelman there having connection issues, not able to escape that one. Look at the 971 machine there, Nathan Maurer. He might have got through this, but he had to do some dirt tracking. Other cars back there dirt tracking. William Kirwan sliding through. Looks like Matt Hummel getting pummeled in his machine right there. There's a Simbox number 77 and the 23 going on through. This is, like you said, Ben, this is a bad one.
Yeah, Drew, I think Drew's already used his fast repair too. So this is the Roadhouse Randy race that's after his grandfather, who helped him get his pedals and his car. So yeah, I think he was wanting to have a good showing in this race. He's going to be disappointed.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll play the tape here, and I was hoping to maybe get a little bit better of a replay lined up for you folks. But let's just continue to try and go back and get a. Let's see. Here we go. No, that's not it. That's not it. So much happened. Here we go. We got a replay for you guys finally. There's that, and I don't know what.
Somebody went up and got him.
Yeah, that's why. That's unfortunate. We're not going to get a look at that one. Let's do it again. Let's slow it down right here, and let's throw it on the old blimp cam. And Hummel and the 11 banged off one another, and then looks like maybe that pulled the number 38 machine up into him, and then it was on from there, folks. And that's fast motion. Getting used to this new package here, folks. But unfortunately, a lot of torn up race trucks.
Yeah, it looks like the Matt Hummel just either he tried to put it 3 wide or he had a, I don't know. But Mashburn certainly didn't know he was there until he was already under him.
Yeah, and you can just see this is a good indication of just how many cars got involved. Oh man, Jeff Wyatt in the 86 machine didn't see that he was involved in it. And look at some of the cars a little bit further back in the pack. Some of these trucks just really.
Did Mashburn hit the wall? Is that what it was? Mashburn bumped the wall and come down?
I don't. I
feel. If you can rewind that view, I think you'll see.
I feel like this is one of those things where iRacing. So we've slowed it down, and I mean the 24 did hit the wall, but it looked like the 38 machine kind of came up into him. All things considered, there.
I think going right into the turn, Mashburn touches the wall. Okay, he went up and forced Mashburn, so the 38 pushed Mashburn into the wall, and then Mashburn kind of just saved the truck and came back down. And 97 was already there. It looks like. Man, tough break.
Yeah, that's what it looks like on my end as well. But a lot of torn up race trucks. We'll try and get another look right here. This is kind of looking out front. Here we go, looking at the back of Howell's machine, and I think that was just an off-center bump right there into the side of Mashburn.
The wall. Then he comes back down on him, yeah. And the 97 really had nowhere to go because 62 was already there.
And watch the 86 machine here. Jeff Wyatt just gets clipped in the rear. And the old guy racing number 86 machine just impaling the outside wall. Really nothing for him to do down into the number 17, folks. And yeah, a lot of torn up race trucks. And hopefully we can get some of those race trucks back out there on the racetrack. But speaking of the racetrack, the pace car lights have turned off. So we're getting set to go back to green flag racing. Evan Gilbert in the number 86 machine was your JR Custom Detailing Lucky Dog Award here under the caution flag. There he is in the white Toyota Tundra. But we are back racing. Up at the front of the field, it is JT Poole and Nathan Maurer. I wish we could have gotten another look there of the 971 machine of Nathan Maurer because he went dirt tracking to avoid that accident in his Simbach Chevrolet. And because of it, he has taken the race lead as we're now working lap number 22. One thing to note, under this caution flag, pretty much the entire field elected to come down pit road. And Ben, we think that might just get them into the window that they can make only one more stop from here on out.
Yeah, I had some intelligence that they could go about 21 to 22 laps right in that ballpark, depending on how they save. So it's going to be close. I think you're right, though. I think they can make it on one more stop.
So you can kind of see here that the field's starting to spread out with some of these damaged trucks. Right now we have a 12 truck breakaway up at the front of the field. Second group of trucks led by Ben Mashburn and Colin Ullery, who looked like they had fast repairs left. But back behind them, a couple of trucks back here who did not have any fast repairs left. And Ben, they're going to have to suffer with that for the remainder of the race.
Yeah, it's just awful, man. There's no worse feeling than knowing you need to ride around and get the points, but your truck just, oh man, it's frustrating. I sympathize with them.
Yeah, on board right now with the driver that picked up the Lucky Dog under this last caution flag, Evan Gilbert. I don't think he has a damaged race truck, but he had to start tail end of the longest line on that restart because he was the Lucky Dog, and because of that, he got stuck behind all of those damaged trucks, and you can see the front pack just disappearing off into the distance. Let's jump on board to one of the trucks that was involved in that last caution flag. That is the number 11 of Christopher Darling, looking at the back bumper of Travis White there, as just saw right there that Mike Floppy Tellier in the number 97 machine, the Canadian driver, again, dropping to the back of the pack. We've seen that a couple times. Maybe he's trying to save those fast repairs for a little bit later in the race. Says, you know what, this is still too racy for me. I'm here to win it. Let's just back out. I don't want to get involved in one of these big wrecks that we've seen.
Yeah, and there's definitely two mindsets. You know, there's your fast repair. I can be aggressive because I have a fast repair. Then when you use it, you're like, okay, now I can't. You know, now everything starts to scare you, and sometimes it's better just to get up there and lead and not get in the big wreck.
And speaking of leading, it is currently JT Poole and Doug Neal going side by side for that race lead down the backstretch. Doug Neal has his teammate Travis White right tucked up behind him. The number 38 machine of Zach Howell is behind Travis White, as well as the number 21 of Jeffrey Vickery, Threat Level Midnight machine. A couple of those Threat Level Midnight machines, unfortunately, heavy damage. I know Shane Ledoux is one of those drivers who's currently being scored one lap down in the number 12 machine. In fact, Ben Mashburn, the number 24 machine, also being scored one lap down as of right now. But good news for Ben Mashburn is he is the first truck one lap down and is in that JR's Detailing Lucky Dog Award spot. Just jump over here to the chat here just for a brief moment. We got the first Windows XP gamer rooting on JT Poole and the number 26 machine. Hope you're having a good night. You were right here on 3Y TV last night as well, the first Windows XP gamer. Jason Bean asking, is Drew Himmelman still in the pit? Yes. Unfortunately, that number 8 machine sits stricken at, well, at least towards the end of pit road. So I think, like you said, Ben, out of fast repairs on the number 8 machine. Hum saying, 11 tapped the wall into me, and then chaos happened. Sure enough, chaos did happen. So, folks, some carnage here before the halfway mark, but we are now into the back half of the Roadhouse Randy 150 here at Daytona International Speedway. The sun is setting here on the famed World Center of Racing, 2.5 mile high banked super speedway here. Restrictor plates, tapered spaces, whatever you want to call them nowadays here on these trucks. And we got some action for you here in the GTR Simulator's Super Speedway Series. Big shout out to them. There is a link in the description for the video for you to check out GTR Simulators, and why don't you do so while the green flag is out and running right here. But it is the number 78 of Doug Neal leading the way, JT Poole second, Travis White, Nathan Maurer, and Zach Howell running at the top 5 right now.
Yeah, everybody's just kind of riding around, man. I think that's smart. You know, just kind of get your bearings, make it to the pit stop. Things typically begin to spread out, as you know. After the pit stop, you'll have some guys try to pit together. Lorello usually pits with his teammates, but I don't. Is any of his teammates close by? I don't think so. So he's going to be looking for a pit partner as well. So it's all about trying to figure out who you're going to go down pit road with right now.
Yeah, so we think these drivers have one more pit stop to make here tonight if we stay green flag. Here comes Nathan Maurer in his machine. Nathan is, of course, another one of those Simbox trucks, and now they're all three nose to tail here, Ben. And if you can get those three lined up, they are extremely good here at Daytona, more so than any other racetrack. It seems like Doug Neal has figured out Daytona and is always a threat to win here. Of course, he was a threat to win here last season here in the Super Speedway Series, but had to come down pit road late. Teammate Nathan Maurer was on track to win that race. So we know those Simbox trucks can be very fast here at Daytona. And of course, last season, the starting race of the season, Doug Neal started on pole in the Simbox 300. So Neal's figured out this racetrack here in the National Sim Racing Association. And now Maurer leaves his two teammates out there on the high line as the number 12 machine there, Shane Ledoux, smacking it off the outside wall, letting everyone pass on by. But he is now make it 2 laps down in that threat level Midnight Chevrolet.
Yeah, for sure. That whole team, man, they're just solid. Of course, you got, let's see, whenever you get a chance to get down, you know, it's always tough to leave your teammate, but if you don't, you're going to go backwards. So Good play by Nate. He may let Doug down right here the first chance he gets so they can kind of hook up.
Yeah, and that number 971 dropping back just a little bit.
See the strategy now? They've got the three of them in line on the bottom, and that'll start getting them prepped for the pit road that's coming. So they're going to be looking to stay down there and just run around until the pit stop. You know, that's my guess.
Yeah, we expect them to come down pit road about 9 laps or so from right now for them to be in that window where they can make it to the end of the race on fuel. But we might just have a couple of drivers think about possibly the green-white checker here, Ben, and maybe some drivers try and run it as long as they can on fuel. We heard 21 to 22 laps was kind of the number from most of these drivers. But everyone pitting on lap number 12 and lap number 19. So 21, 22 laps, that was under green flag as the field goes by William Kirwan there, the number 52 machine, who is damaged and off pace right now. So that was 21 to 22 laps under green flag conditions. So with the fact that they got a few extra laps of caution in there, we think maybe they can go 22 to 23 laps, which means lap number 41, 42, that kind of window. To when we think these drivers will be on pit road, and that will be presumably the final time.
But one of the things I've noticed they've been doing, when you're leading, you're burning more gas. And so they probably rotated to let Nate lead, and then Doug comes up and leads a little bit, and then Travis White, they'll, you know, that way you're all kind of getting about the same gas mileage. Ooh.
Yeah, I was about
They're
to say.
getting racy right here, heading down, man.
Yeah, I was about to say that Jeffrey Vickery there and JT Poole are not on the same wavelength. The JT dropping back a couple of spots now, back behind James Lorello on the high line, as Lorello now pushing the number 11 of Chris Darling there on the high line, right behind the number 21 of Jeffrey Vickery. As Vickery has now got his way to the front, and I've been extremely impressed here, Ben, with the high line. Because we thought, at least you thought, and I did as well, that the Simbox trucks, as soon as they got all together and they got down to the inside line, I thought that was it. They were just going to be able to hold that position for quite some time. But the way the outside line is forming up right now, they're able to stick nose to tail so much better than they are on the inside line, as Jeffrey Vickery now drops to the inside groove. But with Chris Darling, again, showing that outside line is the lane to be in right now. He gets a big push from the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast number 9 Chevrolet of James Orello, and now the number 11 F-150 is out front. With the number 9, they're getting a little bit wiggly there on the top line. Better be careful. Here comes Orello. He's going to drop down to the bottom line.
Yeah, this is the first one I've seen that actually stayed high. You know, normally when you clear the leader, you're getting down. But he tried to stay high, and he made it work for a long time.
Yeah, that he did. JT Poole now all over the back of Chris Darling. Darling going to continue to lead here. He did start on the pole, picked up the Bam Auto Pole Award at the top of the show. Link in the description to Bam Auto. If you need some repairs done, make sure you check them out. 5000 140th Avenue in Hudsonville, Michigan. Great to have them on board as a series sponsor here in the GTR Simulator Superspeedway Truck Series here in the National Sim Racing Association, just past the halfway mark, and it is the number 11 of Chris Darling dropping down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Now he's finally able to drop down to the bottom side of the racetrack here, Ben, in that number 11 machine. But hey, folks, why don't we... Before we get to pit road action here, why don't we have a JKR Motorsports Crank It Up here on 3 Wide TV. Let's check it out. right, folks, that is the JKR Motorsports Crank It Up here in the National Sim Racing Association GTR Simulators Truck Series here, closing in on the final pit stops of the night here at Daytona. Race led by the number 26 machine of JT Poole, and he has his reverse number, the number 62, alongside him of Colin Ullery, but Chris Darling there, the number 11, who won the Bamautogarage Pole Award at the top of the show, running right behind the number 26 Irwin Tools Ford F-150. So a couple of Fords down there on the inside line here. Ben, possibly maybe thinking about working together here as we close in on those pit stops here.
Yeah, so the 26 and the 11 are Max Grafix Racing teammates. So I'd say that it's no coincidence that they're right there together to kind of set the tone. In my opinion, Peter, you always want to kind of go down first because it seems like for whatever reason you just gain more time. And I don't know, maybe it's just me.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things. I prefer on these super speedways to go down with a fewer number of cars, whether that means you come down first or you come down second. You know, I don't want to go down with just a few cars because then you might lose a bunch of time in the draft on that one lap, as we do have drivers coming down pit road. They heard you, and it's the Simbox team all coming down pit road, as well as the number 9 of James Lorello. So Lorello, Maurer, Neal, Travis White, and Dalton Hayes all on pit road right now coming into their pit box.
I don't want to brag, but I believe I called the Simbox deal. They worked that to perfection.
So they came down, and I like that. You know, I mentioned I like coming down pit road kind of in a smaller group of cars. That's perfect for me. You come down onto pit road with only 5 other cars. It means you can find your spot getting onto pit road. There are so many times, Ben, when if you come down onto pit road in a gaggle, just your chances of being involved in an accident coming to pit box, into your pit box, or coming down onto pit lane, as we now have the next group with 20 laps to go. You see how everyone's fanning out. Everyone's trying to find a little spot of the racetrack, and John Doble back there in number 3 possibly having a little bit of difficulty, but now they're in a gaggle. They're having to get to their pit box. You see the 97 of Mike Floppy Taylor. He might have had to lose a little bit of time there, get on the brakes to get into his pit box. Colin Ullery there getting into his box. Zach Howell. Christopher Darling, who's been known for overshooting his pit box, actually gets into his pit box correctly for once.
He gets the kazoo.
He does get the kazoo. Here's the bad news about the kazoo, folks. Rest in peace, kazoo, because that is the software that went belly up. So we'll have to somehow get the kazoo back out here on 3-wide TV. But now we'll get to see how these two different groups of cars blend with one another out there onto the racetrack, because it is that number 3 machine of John Doble leading this group of cars. But then we have James Arello leading another group of cars, and it looks like they're going to merge all together here, Ben. And that's good for both packs of cars, because that means they're going to have a good race to the end, but might make things just a little bit interesting here in turn number 3.
Yeah, we got 3 wide. It's oh boy, there it goes. I knew it.
Yeah, we stay
I could feel
green.
It.
Somehow we stay green.
Doug Neal's on his motor.
Yeah, Doug Neal, his night ends here, unless he has a fast repair, which he might. But what happened here, folks? Let's see if we can make out what happened. The 21 there, Jeffrey Vickery, the 971 outside of him. I did see those two the 971 comes down, gets into Vickery, and into the side of JT Poole. Chris Darling got a piece of that one as well. The 971 and Maurer hard up into the outside, straight into the side of Doug Neal. And Neal right there going to have quite a bit of damage in his machine. Same thing with Colin Ullery. Chris Darling was able to, I think, scoot away without a whole lot of damage in his machine, but it does look like the caution flag has been thrown here. So
I don't think he had too much of a choice right there. The rule is generally, it needs to be two trucks. But if something like that, I mean, there was a lot happened right there. A caution was the right call.
So the whole field will get back together here for a restart with just under 20 laps to go. Doug Neal has had to take a tow back to pit road. Ben, which is a tough break for a driver who has had a really, really good night. Up to that point, we were singing his praises about how he's got this racetrack figured out, but you can say all that, but when the accidents happen here at Daytona, they can come in thick and fast, and unfortunately nowhere for Doug Neal to go in that one.
Yeah, he's just wrong place, wrong time. Not quite sure what happened to Nate. He just, maybe just didn't know it was 3 wide. It's the only thing I can really figure. Looks like Ben Mashburn's getting the lucky dog. He's going to be a factor.
Yeah, Ben Mashburn, definitely a hard charger here. He can really get his head down here on these super speedways, Ben, and charge to the front very, very quickly. In fact, a driver who, unlike a lot of the field, is a hard charger. We know he's very good on these super speedways as well, and it wasn't all too long ago that we interviewed Ben up here in the 3-wide TV booth at one of these super speedways. So definitely great to have him back on to the lead lap with the JR's Mobile Detailing Lucky Dog Award here under this caution flag, which I believe is only caution flag number 3. Ben, if my count is correct, maybe it's caution flag number 4.
I believe you're right.
But
it's either 3 or 4.
I'll tell you what, it's been a pretty clean race, but when the accidents have happened, they have been pretty big accidents.
Yeah, so we got several in chat. We got Tana saying free the kazoo, so then we got Jason Freeman. He was looking forward to the race, but he didn't get home from work in time, so tough break, man.
And Jason Gracias in the chat as well saying, let's go Mike Floppy Tellier and Chris, my darling. Jason Bean asking, Floppy, question mark? Well, I'll tell you the story. I know the story. The story.
I did not know the story, so that's good. I've been asked 100 times.
It's story time now here on 3-Wide TV. There's a certain driver who, I guess the story goes back. I've been racing with Mike in the sim racing community since I was probably the age of 15. And we used to race with a driver, and he's still somewhat active here in the iRacing community. He did a couple of races in the Total Nonstop Racing League a little while ago. But back in the day when Total Nonstop Racing League, when I was 15, Total Nonstop Racing League was racing NASCAR Racing 2003 season. And Kyle Geveshausen nicknamed Mike Tellier Floppy because of South Park, the TV show. And all the Canadians in South Park have a floppy head. And that's just a running joke of the show. And Mike is a Canadian, and so he picked up the nickname Floppy. And Kyle Geveshausen was a huge fan of the South Park TV show. And that is how the Floppy name originated, and it has just stuck with Mike throughout all these years here in the sim racing community. So let's go Mike in the number 97 machine. Definitely been a long time pal of that number 97, originating out of Sarnia, Ontario, just across the border from the United States. And that number 97 truck still clean. He was playing it easy earlier in the race, but I think the time to play it easy here is going away pretty quickly because the pace car is about to head down pit road. We'll have a 15-lap shootout here on the Roadhouse Randy 150. The 971 Nathan Maurer dropping down onto the apron there on the right-hand side of your screen. Not sure why that was. Maybe trying to let some driver on by, but the green flag back in the air here. And James Orello, the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series truck out front right now, leading the number 3 of John Doble, the 11 of Chris Darling coming back behind him. And that outside line, Ben, did not get a good restart.
No, terrible restart. But, James Orello, he gets to control it, so he may have tricked him right there. Caught him sleeping.
Question in the chat from King Crop VODs about Evan Gilbert. Well, Gilbert had some tough luck earlier in the race, got spun, did not bring out a caution flag, went one lap down, picked up the JR's Mobile Detailing Lucky Dog Award, and that number 28 machine is now back on to the lead lap. And no! We got another accident, and it is the number 11 machine going around, and we still got drivers piling in. Jason Shue in the number 15 gets involved in it. The 971 involved. Chris Darling was involved in it as well. My, oh my, another one here at Daytona. Let's figure out what all happened right here. Let's see if we can see Chris Darling. Again, going to have to slow it down. Contact up the front of the field with Travis White. And it was on from there, right at the front of the field with Colin Ulrich. Again, a huge hip check there. The number 47, Dalton Hayes, nowhere for him to go. Straight up into the side of Matthew Robinson. Robinson hailing out of Roanoke. Here comes Evan Gilbert in the all-white number 28 machine. He's going on through. Mashburn just got back on the lead lap in the number 24 machine. He's involved. Clips the number 14 of Stephen Ford. Ford, they're sliding up the racetrack. And wow, look at William Kirwan there, turning the front stretch into a slalom. Dude. I want to go on board with William Kirwan.
Yeah,
there. We got to figure out.
It looks like Chris Darling went high to try to make a run, and Travis White just decided to try to stick it in there 3 wide and just didn't have the room for it. That's my initial view of what happened.
On board here with William Kirwan. Oh, he did, I think, just get a piece of that accident from someone on the right-hand side, but all things considered, great job by him. Yeah, let's go back and see what happened with Darling there, because Darling was definitely, the first one involved. And play the tape here. We're not going backwards.
Yeah. So you'll see Chris. He'll move to the top right here because he's got to run. Travis just says, and then that's just a tough break, man.
Yeah, definitely. I think a little bit of possible impatience on the number 23 machine. Just tried to put in a hole that didn't exactly exist. Maybe something you expect to see on the final lap, but not exactly with 10 laps to go. I know the lap count is winding down, but unfortunately, a couple of torn up race cars here. Let's get another look at this one a little bit further back in the pack. Keep our eyes on the number 28 machine right there in the center of your screen. I know we got King Crop VODs just getting a little bit of damage on that truck, unfortunately, so he will have to come down pit road, I'm sure, and get that damage repaired. Number 98 of Matthew Robinson also got a piece of damage on his machine. You can see right now pit road is a very busy place with a bunch of damaged race cars. There goes the number 14 going off pit road. Chris Darling sits in his pit box right in front of a stricken number 8 of Andrew Himmelman. We know his night's done. The 86 there of Jeff Wyatt. He appears like he's been sitting in his pit box for some time. Jason Shue has been sitting in his pit box. There's the number 15 machine as the cameraman freaks out. The number 12 is Shane Ledoux. He's out there on the racetrack. That's good news for him. William Kirwan just now rolling back out onto the racetrack in the 52. But, yeah. Big accident here. Like I said, they've been coming here tonight at Daytona with quite some pain for certain drivers.
Yeah. I would imagine Travis White wishes he could redo that right now. That was tough break for Chris Darling.
Yeah, I think Travis White actually did have a fast repair left, so I think that number 23 machine will be good to go to the end. Evan Gilbert, definitely some damage on that car. There goes Ben Mashburn. Curious to know if he had a fast repair left. No, I'm seeing a little bit of damage on the 24 machine right there, so I think that
Ben got watered up in the first one, if I remember right.
You are correct. So
the second one.
He definitely is out of fast repairs, and hopefully that damage won't be too bad. But James Zarello is your race leader, the number 9 machine, right up there at the front of the field, trying to lead us back to green here. It'll be 11-lap shootout. John Doble to his outside right there. Diablo on the side of that machine. Third spot, currently Mike Floppy Tellier. Colin Ullery, your reigning series champion here of the Superspeedway series on the outside of row number 2, the Sim Shots F-150. Kyle Lewis, the number 18 machine. Haven't really mentioned Kyle all too much here tonight, but he definitely had a quiet first half of the race, and he's been able to work himself up inside the top 5 here as we're coming back to the green flag. Just waiting for the flag man to drop it here tonight. Let's get a look at the flag man. We haven't seen him here on the broadcast yet tonight do what he needs to do. That is wave the green flag pace car on pit road, Ben, and we're about to get set to go back green.
Yeah, nobody waves the flag like he does. Do it right. There you go.
Just absolutely whipping that green flag around. I know even real NASCAR had to make fun of Barney, the iRacing flag man, once they finally got to real life racing last year after the pandemic sent all the NASCAR drivers racing on iRacing, the iRacing Simulator. If you haven't already checked it out, make sure you do so. There are some recent additions to iRacing where you can get a couple of months at a really cheap price. It is a pay-to-play subscription service, and I'll tell you what, if you can make use of some of those iRacing deals that they put out, that's probably the best time to check out iRacing for the first time. Coming to 10 laps to go, 25 miles left here at Daytona. The field continuing to be whittled down here as currently we are at 17 cars on the lead lap. Christopher Darling is the last car on the lead lap right now, all by his lonesome. Back there, you can't even see him in this screenshot, but we do have a 16 truck lead pack as we see Matthew Robinson, John Doble there in the number 3, and the number 7 down there, that is Garrett Gleason running inside the top 10 here tonight. Great to see Garrett up there inside the top 10, trying to mix things up, although he does have a damaged race truck. 3 wide right now with the number 12 of Shane Ledoux on the top side. 24 Ben Mashburn kind of in that sucker hole. Does have the 26 of JT Poole back behind. It looks like JT's got a clean F-150, so we'll see if JT can make his way towards the front here as we come to 9 laps to go, and definitely looking as racy as it's been all night long.
Yeah, we may see a 4th big one. Or is it the 5th? I've lost track. But we may see another one.
And, you know, all things considered, I think they've tried to have maybe 2 or 3 more big ones here tonight. Just got away with some of the other ones. But definitely been an interesting night here as these drivers have just been from the Cup package that we raced last season in the Superspeedway Series. Is John Doble, the number 3. Looks like he's going to be left out on the high side. JT Poole going with Jeffrey Vickery through the middle groove, and Ben Mashburn also going with JT. So that middle groove starting to look good right now. I bet you anything that number 97, Mike Floppy Taylor, he sees what's happening in his rearview mirror as the field flashes on by the number 11 of Christopher Darling. You know what? I said I would bet you anything. I'm glad I didn't shake on that deal, because I was expecting Tellier to jump out to that high line, because that seems to be where all the momentum is the number 21 of Vickery pulls level with Lorello for the race lead here with 8 to go.
Yeah, you know, yeah, you're right. I kind of thought he would have gone high too, but he may have some deal that we don't know about worked out with Lorello. Maybe they're working together to the end of the race.
Oh, contact! Oh. The 21 of Vickery goes spinning into the grass and into the inside wall. That will not bring out a caution. No. As it's a single car accident. What happened here with the number 21? He was battling for the race lead, pushed from the number 26 that JT Poole. Did he just come down the racetrack? Man, he did come there on the racetrack, but I think it might have been a bad bump.
Lorello too.
Yeah, Lorello going through the grass in the number 9 machine. That's going to be one I think we're going to have to look at maybe a little bit closer. Let's see if we can get a better kind of camera angle of this. And let's see if there's a bump. Oh, yeah, I think there was just a bump that sent Vickery down into Lorello.
Yeah, there's another one. The first one knocked him down there. The second one turned him. Looks like he got him on the right rear on the next bump. Good view right here.
Yeah, there's a bump. And then bump number 2's right there, and it just kind of shoves him down.
There. That one.
Yep. And unfortunately for the threat level Midnight Machine, that will be potentially the end of his night. Meanwhile, JT Poole and all that madness has been able to get to the race lead. 6 laps to go, and I'll tell you what, Ben, it looks like the final lap here at Daytona. They are pushing, they are shoving to try and get track position here in the closing stages. Mike Tellier still tucked up on the inside groove. He has been here tonight very cautious about where he has put that number 97 truck, but he's put it in a good spot, at least right now, up there inside the top 5, right behind JT Poole as Sim shots racing team machine up at the front of the field, but JT Poole goes up to block the high line, cuts off the number 38 of Zach Howell. That opens up the low line. Here comes Mike Floppy Tellier side by side for the race lead with 5 laps to go, this time by 12.5 miles here at Daytona International Speedway.
Man, JT must have got some kind of push, because he's normally, if you go to the high line right there in that situation, you kind of stall. Now he comes back down to the bottom. Good job, bud.
On board with Tellier. Tellier giving a shot to the back of JT Poole through turn number 1 and 2. That's typically not what you want to see. Yeah, now they come again down the back stretch. That look right there from this long camera angle, and JT Poole stuck in the sucker hole in the middle. No one going with him. He's going to drop back through the pack. Now Kyle Lewis, the number 18, has got himself up there towards the front. This is really looking like the final lap here at Daytona, but we're still coming with 4 laps to go. This racing is so intense, and now here comes JT Poole coming up through the middle with Matthew Robinson back behind him, and he will take the race lead.
God, this looks like some of the stuff we do in practice, man. This is amazing stuff.
And the field is catching up to the number 21, and there's contact. Robinson up into the number 31, and they're wrecking out back, and this is a big one again here at Daytona. Caution flag waves, and the field was catching up. I was just about to say that the field was catching up to Jeffrey Vickery in the threat level midnight number 21 machine, and I was curious to know how they would go around him. Well, unfortunately, that is kind of how it all went down. Go here into 3-wide TV slow motion view. Contact there between Zach Howell and Robinson, and unfortunately, kind of a snowball effect. Look at the 21 coming down, the 24 Mashburn getting hit. Garrett Gleason getting into the number 24 machine, although Gleason kind of warped through it. Shane Ledoux getting into the back of Ullery, so Ullery definitely quite a bit of damage in that machine. Nope, that's not a car that was involved. But man, up at the front of the field once again, although that will be a saving grace for James Morellos. He'll be able to catch back up to the lead pack. We got a quick flash of them there as I incorrectly panned to him. But that was a very quick accident that happened there, and unfortunately taking out some very fast race trucks here tonight.
Yeah, and that was a tough one. Just kind of going back and looking at what happened. Looks like maybe Floppy just moved up a hair. Poor Ben Mashburn, man, he's been beat to death this whole race. He had made his way back into the top 5, it looks like, and now he's destroyed.
Well, let's go on board here with driver of the number 47 machine, Dalton Hayes, because Dalton has done a stellar job here tonight. If there's any driver out there, Ben, who has just been extremely cautious with their truck, it has been the number 47 machine of Dalton Hayes. Look at this. Gets on the brakes, stays on the brakes, gets on the brakes, comes down the racetrack. There's all the smoke, stays on the brake, slices back up the racetrack, and oh man, look at that truck going up the racetrack, and there was still contact. That's the number 38, and also that was Zach Howell right there. That kind of happened really late. We'll get another quick look at that one here, because I think that involved the number 14 machine. It did, of Stephen Ford. And the 38 just not getting on the brakes, goes up the racetrack, and there's the 14 machine. Just kind of finishes them off there, unfortunately, for that number 14 machine. Engine damage on that car, and it is absolutely toast. So let's jump back live here up at the front of the field, as the field has been whittled down again. Right now, I think I'm seeing 7 trucks out there on the racetrack. Colin Ullery and Garrett Gleason just now becoming 8 and number 9. Zach Howell on pit road. Stephen Ford on pit road. Doug Neal on pit road. John Doble on pit road. Matthew Robinson is on pit road. Chris Darling in the number 11's on pit road. Jeffrey Vickery's on pit road. Just a bunch of torn up trucks here tonight at Daytona.
Yeah, I bet James Zorella was upset when the 21 hit him like he did and knocked him into the infield, but ended up, that may have been the best thing to happen to him, right? Because now he doesn't have any damage, and he should be good to go. He gets to catch up.
Yeah, that definitely was a big break for that number 9 machine, because he doesn't have a whole lot of damage. He did have to go through the grass. I'm a bit surprised that looking at my chart here, he was not one of those drivers to come down pit road. under this caution flag. I kind of expected him to kind of come down pit road just in case he maybe had, picked up a little bit of damage in all that madness, but he has not. And folks, it does look like we are going to have the Beer Street Journal overtime here at Daytona. So we will go into overtime action here, brought to you by Beer Street Journal. There is a link in the description. If you don't have that link in the description, I have added it, so hit the F5 key or refresh or do what you need to. But beerstreetjournal.com recently jumping on board here in the National Sim Racing Association, joining the likes of GTR Simulators, Max Grafix, JKR Motorsports, JR's Mobile Detailing, of course, over in the Premier Truck Series side of things here in the National Sim Racing Association, the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series. We got Sim Shots on board also with the cameras each and every week. Well, not the cameras, but at least the post-race pictures. A lot of great people putting together this National Sim Racing Association, and Beer Street Journal jumping on board with that as well. I myself, Ben, prefer or like the beverage of beer, and I myself actually had to run up here because the bar that is one street away from me here tonight was having a little bit of a pint night. They had a brewery in from California, and
You couldn't pass that up.
I could not pass that up. That's right. Free pint glasses. So I got myself a free pint glass, and then I had to run up here and do the broadcast. So actually, I think after the broadcast, I might head back down to the bar and have another pint. And I might need one after the way this race has gone. I'm sure some of the drivers in the field might want one after the way this race has gone. But
There's going to be a whole lot of drivers wanting one, I can tell you that right now.
Well, the pace car lights are off, so we're going to have a green-white checker here, brought to you by Beer Street Journal, as the number 26 machine of JT Poole will lead us back to green. Kyle Lewis, that number 18 machine outside on that front row, at least did not have a great start, does have a little bit of damage. And here comes Dalton Hayes. I mentioned how he did such a stellar job of getting on the binders to get through that last accident. Contact between the 23 of Travis White and Kyle Lewis. And it looks like the number 62 of Villery was in the outside wall, as well as we got a couple of trucks with quite a bit of damage here, Ben. But we also got a couple of trucks that don't have any damage. It's going to be fun to see how this all sorts out, because if we can get to the stripe this time and see the white flag, we won't see another caution. But I just had to open my mouth because we're going to have another caution here, as the 97 of Mike Floppy Taylor, I think, had just used his fast repair. James Arello getting involved in that one. Colin Ullery might have been involved, but I think it might have been Evan Gilbert and possibly the number...
Yeah, I think Evan Gilbert got bumped from behind, if I saw it correctly.
Well, we'll see if we can dial up this accident right here for you folks. Once again, coming down the backstretch. And yeah, the number 9 and the 28 definitely made contact. And it was on from there. Look at Zach Howell. Howell getting up into the air on that one. Let's see if we can
Looks like Lorello got in the middle, right? And then the 28 just didn't know he was there, maybe.
Yeah, that number 9 machine in the middle, right there. And watch for contact between the 9 and the 28. I don't know if the 9 went up the racetrack or the 28 came down, whether or not it's a racing deal. Fortunately, nowhere for Mike Floppy Taylor to go. He gets caught up in that one. Garrett Cleason again kind of bulldozering his way through there without a whole lot of damage. And look at the bottom side of the number 38 truck. That, of course, driven by Zach Howell. Getting involved. Tellier there spinning around, gets back up into the wall, picks up Lorello for another time. Unfortunately, Evan Gilbert, he gets quite a bit of damage, going back at going in reverse very fast there. Even that number 28 machine finally able to bring it to a halt. But I want to see what happened to Zach Howell there, Ben, because that looked pretty brutal on that number 28 machine.
Yeah, it did. It did not look good. It looks like, I'm trying to figure out if he moved up or if it's hard to see from that view how much of a hole Lorello had to get his nose in there.
Yeah, we'll get another look here of Zach Howell in the number 38 machine. I'm sure we'll see kind of the underneath of that number 38 truck there briefly, but it looks like, I mean, honestly, it looks like that truck completely toast right there. It does not look right, and you can see it is not right. Suspension broken, not going anywhere. That number 30, the wheel might be spinning, but that truck left stranded out here at Daytona International Speedway. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of these trucks end up in the scrapyard after this one. Definitely been an interesting night. The field continues to wind down. I'm not seeing a whole lot of damage on Mike Floppy Tellier's number 97 machine. Maybe that's just from the camera angle that we had there. Yeah, though, I take that back. A lot of damage on that number 97 Chevrolet. He's guaranteed a pretty decent finish, though, here tonight, with the fact that we're only down to just a handful of trucks left, and JT Poole's chances of winning this race keep getting better. But I really want to give a big shout-out to Dalton Hayes right behind him, because that number 47 machine has been really stellar at keeping his truck nice and clean, unlike a good majority of the field here tonight. We are going to have a second attempt at a green-white checker brought to you by our friends over at Beer Street Journal. Big shout-out to them, and gotta say that they are getting their money's worth here tonight on 3 Wide TV. I myself, just to talk about beer just a little bit, going back to the pint night here tonight, I had a stout, 14.5%, which if you know anything about beer, that is a stout.
That's a stout.
It was a stout, and I was expecting it to be kind of a normal stout, and I was expecting to get a pint glass, and instead of getting a pint glass, I got 6 ounces. I paid $5 for 6 ounces of beer, and I'm a little disappointed in that. That's why I'm going to go back down. I need another pint. I need a real pint this time. But it was very, very good. Extremely good for considering it was only 6 ounces of beer that I got. But yeah, I didn't know that when I bought it, folks. It showed up on my table, and I was like, well, okay. Question in the chat. Tristan Mayer asking about somebody or another. Maybe
Garrett Gleason, I believe. And I'm trying to figure out where Garrett is, because I would have thought he would have been up pretty close to the front.
Yeah, Gleason, I think, coming back out there. I think he got some extra damage in that last accident, so he came down pit road. Paul Bilson saying, I'm drinking breakfast stout, oatmeal chocolate, delicious. I love my stouts, I gotta say. And some of those breakfast stouts, really, really good. And, we're just plugging the sponsor here tonight, Beer Street Journal, because they talk about that stuff all the time. Make sure you check them out. Jason Gracia is saying stouts suck. Meanwhile, green flag out there in the racetrack. Jason, you suck. Just kidding. Green flag is out. JT Poole out front and getting a huge jump there in the number 26 machine. But maybe Dalton Hayes here has something up his sleeve. Maybe thinking, you know what, let JT get far out front because he's closing up on the back bumper. Has to do an over-under. A late maneuver for the 47, a big block from JT Poole, but now it is Dalton Hayes to the front here at Daytona. I just wondered if maybe he was letting JT get out front. Sure enough, he did. And Hayes now leads, coming to the white flag.
Yeah, JT moved up, tried to block. This is going to be crazy. We may see another big one. Well, I don't know how big it can be considering there's only a few trucks left, but
coming to the white flag. Here comes the number 23 machine, Travis White. He's going to look for the race lead coming to the white flag. Just think, folks, if that is the finish next time by, we are going to have one heck of a finish. The white flag is out. No more caution flags. Could we see a driver like Kyle Lewis just walk away with a win here tonight?
He's going to get a killer run. He's laid back just about the right distance to get a really good run down the backstretch. He may have a shot. But old Mr. Excitement, JT Poole, he's going to go, I'm telling you, he's going to go hard for this win.
Looking out back of Dalton Hayes right now, coming off into turn number 3. JT Poole trying to time his move. Here we go. Here comes the number 26 machine to the outside. We're going to be side by side. Turn number 4 coming to the checkered flag here at Daytona. Hayes on the inside, Poole on the outside, and JT Poole is going to walk away with the win here at Daytona.
Wow, what a move. That's textbook. Great job by JT Money Chef Pool.
He left it late, Ben, and somehow, some way, able to use that high line, use that side draft to get to the win. And folks, I think we got to see that finish this week. Last week, for some reason, YouTube decided to drop us for the whole final lap. But here tonight, I think we were able to see that one. We'll try and get a replay of that pass right there at the end of the race. Here we go. Here is the pass for the win. Coming through turn number 3 and 4, JT Pool using the high line. Hayes does all he can to try and thwart that run, but it was all for naught because JT Pool just a full head of steam out of turn number 4, able to drop down to the bottom, comes across the start-finish line, and wins the race here tonight at Daytona International Speedway, race number 2 of the GTR Simulators Superspeedway Series. Great job there by that young driver getting to go to victory lane here at Daytona, burning it down right here in front of the flag man there on the front stretch and lighting him up for all the fans in the chat. Paul Bilson saying kudos to the 47 for not pulling a Ryan Newman. Philip Scott saying what a pass. Tana Hillman, way to go, JT. Paul Bilson also, I think, dissing Jason Gracias for drinking IPAs. William Kirwan saying, I don't know how I finished in the 6th position. I don't know either, William. But speaking of William Kirwan, William does present the Kirwan Racing Race Winner Award, and it goes to that driver right there, driver of the number 26 machine, JT Pool, here tonight.
Yep, and that's $5 of iRacing credits also for the winner. That
is true. Brought to you by William Kirwan and Kirwan Racing. So a big shout out to all of them. Let's see if we can get some of those post-race interviews lined up for you folks right here on 3 Wide TV. It might take us just a little bit to get your top 3 of JT Pool, Dalton Hayes, and Kyle Lewis down here into the booth. Let's see if we got anyone waiting down there. No, we do not have anyone just yet, so we'll make sure. We got number 18 waiting down there now for you folks. But tell us what you thought of that finish. Definitely been one of the best finish that we've had here in a while, at least in the Superspeedway series, Ben, because you and I know that with that last package that we had, we just could not quite get finishes like that each and every week. But we do have those folks, the top 3 finishers lined up for each and every one of you in the chat. So let's see if we can dial up tonight's 3rd place finisher driver of the number 18 machine, Kyle Lewis. Kyle, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think the big question that a lot of people are going to have here tonight is how did I finish in X place? Insert number there. Luckily, you get to insert 3rd in there. Tell us about your night. There was a lot of damage on that Rowdy Energy machine.
It was actually a big surprise, to be honest with you. Did not expect to be 3rd, especially after being involved in the 2 wrecks in the beginning of the race. Just staying clean, and the end of that race there got into Travis and put a little bit more damage on the left side. But finishing 3rd, it's my best finish so far in 2 seasons. So,
yeah, definitely was a wild night here tonight at Daytona. We asked kind of the same question last week at Talladega, that this new package, or not this new package, but changing over to the trucks versus the Cup package, which the Cup package isn't extremely racy here on Super Speedways, but changing over to the trucks, how do you think it has affected the series?
For me personally, it's been better. The Cup Series, I just could not keep up with the draft. Pit stops were killing me. You just couldn't suck up anybody. But in this Truck Series, it's when we broke up that field there in the middle of the race, I could stay back, half a second to a second and still be able to suck up when needed. So it makes much different package with the trucks, and I like it better than the Cup car.
Yeah, definitely. We saw that in full effect here tonight. I know Ben Adams and I up here in the booth were expecting you to kind of make a run there on that final lap. Maybe just a little bit too much damage for you to suck up to the back of the 26 and the 47?
Absolutely. I felt it going into that last run there. I just couldn't get up to him on the last run. I kept going, wreck him. So I could, hopefully get a second or a first out of it. But, I'll take a third. It's been a rough 2 seasons. I know you guys mentioned a lot of bad luck. So I'll take a third and move on to next week and go from there.
And speaking of next week, we go to the iRacing Superspeedway. What are your thoughts of that track? And then before we let you go, any shout-outs?
I'm actually pretty excited to go to iRacing. I had a 4th there last season, so I my best finish by 1. I really like that track with all the lanes. I think it's a little bit racy. I haven't done it in the trucks, but last season when the Cup car had that good package, it was a good run. But other than that, I'd like to shout out these guys that are running this league. I appreciate them, letting me run, and each one of them have come to me and helped me individually the best they can, and I try to take that as best I can as well. So, good shout out to them guys and all the sponsors out there, the GTR, and, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, Kyle, congratulations on your 3rd place finish here tonight, and we'll see you again next week here in the GTR Simulator Superspeedway Series.
I appreciate it. Hey, Ben, I hope to see you back on the track in the next week or so.
Yeah, man, I'll be back tomorrow night. I'm hitting the Roval. Probably shouldn't, but I'm going to.
All right, good to see you back, buddy. Thank you, guys.
Hey, thanks, man. Good run.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's going to do it with tonight's 3rd place finisher. I believe Ben Adams has caught up with tonight's runner-up. Driver of the number 47 machine kept it nice and clean there, Ben. Dalton Hayes.
All right. Hey, Dalton, this is Ben up in the booth. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How about you guys?
Man, I just got to imagine if I were in your shoes, I'd be a little disappointed. But after all the destruction and mayhem, you got to also be happy with where you finished, right?
Oh, yeah. After last week, and just a little bit of my own mess up caused me to have a good finish. So 2nd place after last week's effort was a lot better.
Yeah, JT just kind of set you up. We saw you kind of move up and try to slow down his momentum, but what did he just? He must have had a little bit more momentum right there. You just couldn't quite get up in front of him, huh?
Yeah, my buddy, the 23 that I was working with most of the night, I was working with a group of them there. He actually thought that it ended a lap sooner, so I lost my pusher there on coming to the last lap.
Oh man, that's a tough break. We didn't catch that.
Yeah, you might see he let off just a little bit there. He still finished up in the top 5, but just a little bit of miscommunication there.
Yeah. Well, good run, man. Do you have anybody that you want to shout out and thank?
Shout out to those guys that I raced with tonight. They were a welcoming group, and shout out to you guys for putting the broadcast on, and Chris for doing my paint schemes.
All right. Well, thanks, man. We're going to head back up to Peter. I believe you are going to have our race winner.
Yeah, I'm just now making my way down to Victory Lane where JT Money Shift Pool has come home with yet another victory here in the National Sim Racing Association. JT, it was a race of attrition. A lot of drivers out there needed a lot of Irwin tools to saw off front fenders and all that good stuff, but you were able to park your truck in Victory Lane. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, it was a pretty long race, even though it didn't feel like it needed to be. There was a bunch of crashes, a bunch that we had to get through, and we were caught up in some. Had to use that quick repair, I think around like lap 43, so I was sitting in the back, just trying not to get anything, and then once it got to that point, it was go time, so I started to make my way up to the front, and eventually we started leading. I think that 21, his bumper was folded in, and I just hit him in the wrong spot. My nose kind of picked his rear tires off the ground, and it sent him around with throw. I'm sorry about that, but other than that, it felt like a pretty clean and good race on my half.
Yeah, it was definitely a wild one further back in the pack, but you were able to stay up front and out of most of the carnage here tonight in the number 26 machine. Next week, we go to, of course, iRacing Superspeedway. Unrestricted, very, very quick. What are your thoughts of that racetrack?
Scary. It's big bank turns, long straightaways. It's crazy. You can run as many wide as you want, 5, 6 wide. It's crazy, and it's literally just a toss-up race. Anyone can win it.
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting one next week. Same time, same place, right here on 3Wide TV, 8:30 Eastern, Tuesday night here in the GTR Simulators Truck Series. JT, I kind of asked the same question just a little while ago to Kyle Lewis about how these trucks race versus the Cup cars. Now that you have 2 races underneath your belt, you excited for the rest of the season?
Yeah, it's shaping up to be a good one. I think these first 2 races have set a pretty good benchmark for the remainder of the season, and I'm sure it'll be a very enjoyable one. I'm sure it's going to be a lot more enjoyable than the back half of last season.
Absolutely. That is awesome to hear out of you here tonight. Before we let you go, JT, any shout-outs?
Yes, sir. All the administrators, Ben Adams, Chris Starling, Ben Mashburn, Doble, Himmelman, all those guys. You guys for putting on the broadcast. Ben Adams for stepping into the booth for this week. All the league sponsors, Butt Kicker, Max Grafix Racing, my teammates, and everybody that I was working with today.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, JT. We'll see you next week here in the GTR Simulators Superspeedway Series in the National Sim Racing Association. Enjoy the win.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
All right, that's going to do it for our post-race interviews here tonight. Let's see if we can bring up tonight's final race results here at the famed Daytona International Speedway. They'll be jumping up for you on your screen right there. JT Poole taking on the win. Dalton Hayes coming home in second. Kyle Lewis coming home in third. Colin Ullery coming home in fourth. Your front 4 separated by about 7/1000ths of a second. Travis White coming home in fifth. Couple seconds back. William Kirwan in the number 52, somehow finding a way to finish in sixth here tonight. He's a bit surprised with that. I think he was a recipient of one of those JR Detailing Lucky Dog Awards towards the end of the race. Garrett Gleason coming home in seventh in the number 7 machine. Evan Gilbert in ninth. Evan Gilbert in 8th. Doug Neal in the 78 in 9th. Mike Floppy Tellier rounding out your top 10. And the last truck on the lead lap, your pole sitter here tonight, Christopher Darling, finished there in 11th. Jeffrey Vickery in 12th. James Orello 13th. Zach Howell 14th. Shane Ledouche 15th. Stephen Ford 16th. Matthew Robinson there in 17th. John Doble in our 18th position here tonight. Moving on to the next page of finishers in 19th. We got Ben Mashburn, Jason Shue running out your top 20. Jeff Wyatt, Nathan Maurer, Matt Hummel, Jimmy Reynolds, Chip Hansen, Andrew Himmelman. And Ben, you did not start here tonight because you were up here in the booth alongside me. I asked you if you wanted to start, but there's a good chance you probably wouldn't have finished if, at least by the numbers, as a lot of drivers involved in a big accident here tonight.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have been a good idea to drive and commentate at the same time. It could have been a mess.
I think someone's going to have to do that at some point. Someone is going to have to do that.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be me or you or someone is going to just have to be a Clint Boyer one of these days.
Yeah, I've done it before. It's pretty fun, but I slipped up and might have said a word I shouldn't say one time. But I think I learned my lesson.
Hey, we're not against those no words here on 3 Wide TV. It just depends on what sponsors are for or against. Speaking of sponsors, one thing that we do have to give out here tonight before we go is the Hard Charger of the Race Award. Max Grafix, Facebook.com/MX Grafix, GRAFX, and also MaxGrafix.co do present the Max Grafix Hard Charger Award, and here tonight it's going to go to the number 62 Sim Shots machine of Colin Ullery. Picked up 17 spots throughout the night in his number 62 Ford F-150, so big shout out to Colin Ullery for picking up that Hard Charger Award this week. But I think that's going to do it here, folks. So make sure you join us same place, same time, right here on 3 Wide TV next week. iRacing Superspeedway for more GTR Simulator Superspeedway Series action here in the National Sim Racing Association. But until then, stay safe and we shall see ya.